everybody. Welcome. My name is Maglic. I'm so excited to have amazing host today, Raven Scott, who is meditation teacher, book writer, and TV show host. Please welcome Raven Scott. Hello, Raven. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro. And so thank you that I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So Raven, for people who don't know you, can you tell us who is Raven Scott? Like, where do you come from? What do you do? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. I am a spiritual mentor. I have always been a spiritual mentor all through my childhood. Just in a different realm now. Before it was in the Christian realm. Now it's in the more spiritual realm. I am actually have a degree in interior design, but have been a survivor and gone through narcissist abuse for 10 years. I exited that, started healing, and then I did this kind of cathartic process. I was always journaling, and I wrote more about my story. And the first time I wrote my book, it's called Empath and the Narcissist. I wrote it like I was very angry. So it was not really a good readable, sellable book. There was a lot of anger. I was going through it. I sounded very, very much like a victim. So I scrapped that, I waited a year, I rewrote it. And I actually rewrote it like through my podcast. I talked it. And then I was like, nope, that doesn't work either. And then I was starting to really just find these healing tools, meditations, journal prompts, all these different beautiful things that I loved. And I'm like, I'm going to integrate that into my book. So after every chapter of my memoir, it's just very empowering. And then I have a tool for people to use to heal from emotional abuse, whether it be from narcissists or not. And yeah, so that's kind of how the book evolved. And so talking about my book, I just started promoting it. And I'm just here serving. It's kind of this weird path. I did not go to school at all. I have no English lit, nothing. I don't know how to be a speaker, but as I was learning my astrology chart, I saw that in my North Node and in my house of career, where my Mars is and where I fight for people, it all lines up. I'm fighting for people who don't have a voice for themselves yet, but they will. I'm fighting for them to have that voice. And, the North Node's all in, it's called Gemini, the zodiac. So it's about communicating and expressing to help people in different ways. So it's really interesting how it's all coming together. Of course, the journey is not finished yet, so I'm excited to see where it leads.
So can we talk a little bit about that moment when you realized that you are in an abusive relationship? So what was the moment for you when you realized, okay, something is wrong here, and I have to change that?
Yeah, I would say the biggest wake up moment is when the emotional and verbal abuse got physical. And one night we're having an argument, and he grabbed my wrist and he wouldn't let go. And so I was like, what do I do? He's not letting go and it's starting to hurt. So I slapped him to get him to like shake him off. And then he slapped me back. And after all these years of all of this talking down to me and manipulating me and removing things like they were a reward, like I was a dog or something, that was the moment that I woke up. And I even told him, I said, this is not healthy. We need to go to therapy. Like, our relationship is not healthy. And that's the moment that I woke up.
So can we talk a little bit about your healing process? How was the healing process for you from that? Like, okay, you go to therapy, and how, like, what methods did you use to help yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I first was referred to a therapist when I left. And so I did the talk therapy. She was able to help me identify that I was in an emotional abusive relationship. I mean, to that point, I didn't know what was up, what was down. My brain was so turned around. He had me like doing contortion acts in my brain. So she was able to help me identify that, yes, it was abusive and you have every right to have left and now you're here to heal, and you could talk through it, and this is a safe space. So that was really good. I experienced PTSD emotionally after as well when I left. So I would just get these very intense moments of feeling nauseous. I felt like I was being stretched energetically like a rubber band in and out. And I had to stop everything. And I had to kind of cry through it, breathe through it, and process it. And it would last for me, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. So to heal from that, I just continued to do different modalities of therapy. So she had me do like paint therapy, and I was able to kind of get my emotions out through painting, meditations. EFT tapping was huge. I was able to reduce a lot of that stress through EFT tapping meditations. Inner child work, as far as like an actual meditation, was really beautiful for me to heal. But in those moments of like hitting the waves, if you ever get that PTSD, the best thing is just to breathe and walk it out. That left right movement is really, really calming. And so I did a lot of walking and like listening to books, self-development books, walking and listening to a lot of, healing spiritual podcasts. So that was kind of my journey. It was a long journey. I, I feel like I'm now about how many, 11 years out. And I feel like finally, I don't want to say I'm free from it because there's always healing, but I feel like I'm not in the thick of it anymore. But it takes time, it takes time.
Definitely takes time, and it takes courage to look back and face that and say, okay,
It
I
does.
have to heal myself, and I cannot ignore that. It really takes courage.
Yeah, it does. It's scary. And it's triggering too, to like be able to sit with those uncomfortable feelings. Yeah.
Can we talk about your book, which is actually the result of the healing process? So you have really an amazing book. So people go and check her
Mhm.
on Amazon. Do you
Yeah.
have a copy with you?
Copy right
Yes.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
Empath and the Narcissist, and it's a healing guide for people pleasers.
yeah, it's really an awesome book. You can also check Raven on Instagram. She has amazing posts, very inspiring posts to help you heal. She's a great author. I want to go back to your book and like, can you tell us like a couple of suggestions that you give people when they read your book? Like, what is the best way to start with the healing?
Yeah. The best way, I start actually with childhood, because like we were just talking about, it always starts in the beginning. All of the conditioning and things, it starts there. So I actually have, in my book, like a journal of kind of evaluating like what was the parenting style that you grew up in, almost identifying, right? It's like when you clean a closet, you have to pull everything out and identify, what do I have, what do I want anymore, and what's serving me, what's not. And then you get to journal about how you ideally would want to have been parented. And if you have children, then you get the opportunity to apply that to your children. um, the inner child meditation I have in here is key to really support yourself and let go of all of the burdens, all of the expectations, the judgments, whatever kind of clouded your light from your childhood. Maybe it was abuse, maybe it was trauma. You get to release all that and heal and play with your child and connect with yourself. So that one's a really beautiful one. That's one of my favorites I love from the book. Um,
I don't, just a second. I just
yeah,
want to say, like, that's really the most important part to go back to your childhood, to heal your
yeah,
childhood, and allow the child to express everything that she wanted to express as a child but was not able to. And
yeah,
that's really, really the most important thing. And I love how you said that. I just want to say, everybody who haven't tried yet, it's really the most important part to go back and heal your childhood wounds.
it is. It is. And it's magical. I know I remember practicing it with a few friends in the past, and for one of my friends specifically, she had been sexually abused as a child. And she was telling me as we were going through the beginning part, right? Because you kind of you don't confront, but you're standing there and you hold your hands out and they put all their things in your hands so you can drop it. She's like, it was so triggering for me. I wanted to stop. But I pushed through it. And then once I pushed through that horrible feeling, you guided me into the magical garden, and it just like everything just felt so much better. So I would encourage you to have that bravery to be able to, like, in that safe space where you're all alone in meditation, to confront those really triggering and scary feelings.
Definitely. I also remember when I started healing my childhood wounds, when I finally was able to release some anger, some sadness. That was for me the most magical moment, because I was finally free after so many years of being like, it felt like I'm in a closet and the doors are closed and I cannot get out and I cannot breathe. I'm suffocating. The moment when somebody opened the closet, I was like, oh, let me take the breath of freedom.
And you have
That's
the
how.
power to open the door.
Yes.
Yeah, you have that power.
So, Raven, could you please tell us the second thing that can help somebody heal?
Oh, I think the second thing is really focusing in on knowing your way of how to make the right choices, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because once you start to know and gain confidence that you are making the right choices for yourself that are aligned with your soul, then you will gain confidence, where I would say number 3 would be start setting boundaries. You have to gain strength and healing within yourself before you can confront the tiger. So the second one would be, that's why I love human design. I read human design charts. I studied mine thoroughly and realized that my authority is from my sacral. So I need to ask yes or no questions to myself very simply and listen to what sound comes up. And then I was like, you know what? I'm confident in what my choice is now. And therefore, I can now hold to my answer, yes or no.
That's really, really powerful. And that's so important to actually to listen to your intuition and follow with the intuition. Have a really, I would say, gut to follow your intuition. Because sometimes it takes courage, intuition tells you the things that sometimes you don't want to do, like, and their rational mind says one thing, intuition says different things. So
that's funny. No pun intended, but pun intended. The gut. Have guts to listen to your gut.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
because your
Raven,
head will deceive you, and that part of knowing your authority is listening to your body. Because especially if you are a people pleaser and you have had some childhood trauma, sometimes that kind of shapes you already, like you've been conditioned to make sure everyone's happy. And then you'll justify bending over backwards for somebody, or having your boundaries step over, or just pleasing everybody. And you'll think, well, it's because of this. Because you just keep, that's why the narcissist or anyone who's emotionally abusing you keeps you in this really tight hold, is because they keep confusing you and justifying and like messing with your brain. So you have to get out of your brain and get inside your body, and then should be all clear by then.
Yeah. And I also want to say the best way how to find what is the right for you is just tune into your intuition, see what does it feel for you. If it feels light, that's okay. If it feels heavy, maybe I choose something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Raven, could you tell us about your new TV show? That's so exciting
I'm
and
so
amazing.
excited about it. I know.
Yeah.
I've been invited to host my own show on YouTube on Narcabuse Network TV. So there's this network called Narcabuse TV, and he's starting to have different shows. And I'm his premiere show, my own show. It's called The Raven Scott Show. Super simple. And we'll just be talking about relief. So we're getting away from continuing to kind of stay in that victim mentality idea. Great. I 100% affirm that you've been through this. Now, here's how you can get relief from it. So we're talking about relief and reinvigoration and hope and healing. So I'm really excited about that show. Make sure you go and subscribe to it.
Yeah, Raven has also a YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe to her channel. It's Raven Scott Girl Talk. So make sure to subscribe. I'll also put the link below so that you have it. So Raven, could you please tell us more about your programs that you have and where people can find you?
Absolutely. Before I shift to that, I just have to say that you'll have to go and subscribe to my channel because Nina is a guest on my Raven Scott Girl Talk channel. So I know you all love her. So go and check her out there. Yeah, I have a program called Soul Collective. It's a membership, and it's just a beautiful space that I've partnered with another podcaster to hold space for your spiritual growth. And your spiritual growth, I think, is really key to your healing because that's where your soul's connected. And that's where your emotions and everything is all intertwined. So we do tarot card readings in there. We do teachings on wisdom, about how to heal your heart, just being in life. I also teach about human design in the Soul Collective, and we have live Q&As there. So it's really fun and amazing, and there's 3 different tiers you can choose from, so it's going to be a beautiful community.
I participated in a couple of your meditations, and I have to admit they are really, really nice, and I love them so much. So
Thank
please make
you.
sure that you check her because she is really an amazing teacher. So
Yes, all the meditations are on my YouTube channel, and then you also get exclusive meditations in the Patreon membership, the Soul Collective membership.
That's beautiful. Raven, can you tell us more about your podcast? Because you also have very empowering, very inspirational podcast. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, the podcast is for all those audio lovers who love to walk and listen versus watching the YouTube. And it's all about empowering you to take care of yourself, to heal from emotional abuse, tools about, I talk more in depth on the podcast about human design, and you get to learn more about, what it is, how to read it, what type are you, what does that even mean? So I talk a lot about that. And the podcast is called The Thriving Intuitive.
Great, thank you so much. So Raven, can you tell us where people can find you? I know you're on Instagram, YouTube. Please share where people can find you.
Yeah, I think the simplest house to find all the links is my website, thethriving.intuitivepodcast.com. And you can find me there. The Instagram is The Thriving Intuitive. The YouTube is Raven Scott Girl Talk. And on the Narc Abuse TV network, you'll see me eventually in a couple weeks. I'm not sure when this is airing, but we're going to be doing that late March, the Raven Scott show on Narc Abuse TV.
So make sure to subscribe to her channel. Make sure to follow her on Instagram. She has a really amazing post there. She's truly inspirational person. I really love her. I have known Raven for more than 1 year. She is really just a beautiful soul. You will definitely love everything what she posts there. So thank you, Raven. I'll have the one very last question for you. Mm-hmm. If you can tell something to your younger self, what would you say?
Yeah. I think that I would tell a younger self that you're worth it. You may not think it because of the Instagram, right? The comparison syndrome. You think, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Do you know, is she really using a filter? Like, reality is not online. And you are a beautiful soul here for a very unique purpose. And you are worth it. You are worth waiting for the right type of love. For me, I dove straight into something because I was so afraid that I was worthless. I had to just grab any guy who would like me. And therefore, I ended up in a narcissistic abusive relationship because they prey on people who have that low self-worth. So I would just, encourage you, keep working on your self-esteem, love yourself, find affirmations, do mirror work, talk to yourself. Yeah, that's just what I would say.
That's such a beautiful message. Thank you, Raven, so much for your wisdom, for your inspirational words. Thank you so much for being here today. And for everybody else, keep working on yourself. The world does need that love and light inside of you more than ever. I'm sending you so much love and positive energy. Bye.